What's good on my stock market homies? Pot stocks, MJ, the ganja herb. These stocks have been volatile over the last couple of months with uncertainty brewing about where legislation in the United States is headed. Are we headed towards federally legalized MJ in the United States? Or is it just going to be stagnation in Congress like we've seen in the past? The uncertainty has caused these stocks to sell off over the last few months and kind of just chop around. But there are some undercurrents happening that are leading me to believe that these stocks are trading way too cheap and that we are seeing even deep red conservative southern states head towards a legalization. And right now may be a great time to dip your toes in some MJ stocks. I think there are a handful of undervalued MJ stocks out there, and we're going to be talking about a few of those in today's video, as well as sector sentiment. Where is the legalization process at, and how is it going to impact this sector? If you're new around here, we talk about the top stocks in the stock market every single day. Go ahead and subscribe. Turn on the bell, and everybody destroy the like button. Every hit on this like button will send your favorite MJ stock up by 1%. So let's run it up. Let's pump the stocks. And before we get started, do me a favor. If you're looking for a new broker, the broker that I use every day, the desktop platform that I have on the screen, that's Webull. They are a great zero commission free trading platform, and you can get some free money if you sign up with my link in the description. You'll get, I believe, up to $1,850 free. All right, so I have TLRY. TLRY is the ticker. I got the chart pulled up on the screen. Let's jump back and look at the daily. And it's been a pretty ugly ride, to say the least, over the last 15 months or so. We had the initial big pump, right? When everybody was hopping on MJ stocks, TLRY ran up from $7.16 per share all the way up to $67 per share. It was a massive short squeeze, similar to what we saw in GameStop. But it sold off as legislation just kind of froze up. All the states that were legal kind of just stagnated, and we didn't get any more of the big legalization announcements, PRs, that helped these stocks move higher. So we sold off from 67 all the way down to a low of $12.54. But today we got some pretty important news. TLRY reported earnings, and they did better than expected. This is a profitable MJ company now. Last quarter, they posted a pretty sizable loss. They came back this quarter, better than expected numbers. They posted a net profit, and they reported $142 million of revenue. That is a 25% increase. And we also had a net income of $33.6 million. So that is profit. We're talking about a profitable MJ company. That was crazy. To even talk about posting a profit in this sector a few years ago was pretty much unheard of. TLRY is the biggest MJ producer in the world as of now, and these numbers, I believe, are just going to continue to get better. We've been talking about TLRY here on the channel for months and months and months as a buy. Even as it sold off, we talked about buying the dip. Now, looking back at it, I wish I had bought more, but I still think it's trading at a pretty cheap valuation. It is a growing sector. We're talking about a sector in its infancy. However, I do think there's going to be some more competition. We'll talk about that in just a second. This is a stock that once traded at almost $70 a share. Today, we're trading at $15 per share. So even though we're up big on the day, I'm not letting that get in my way of making a decision on whether this company is still too cheap. We do have some resistance here on the chart that we came into today, and we've rejected off of that $16.25 area. But if we can close over that, this thing can really start taking off. We have a potential for a short squeeze here as well, and I think this is a $25 to $30 stock within the next 12 to 15 months. Number one, because the stock is too cheap. Number two, because of sector strength. I think we're going to see money coming back into the MJ sector because of this. The head medical correspondent for Touchdown Trades, aka my dad, sent me an article the other day talking about how New Orleans has a shortage of medical MJ. They just awarded a huge contract to 4 local universities, I believe it was, and those are the only legal growers of MJ in the state of Louisiana, and they can't keep up. Georgia just expanded on their medical MJ laws. They're going to be allowing people to come into Georgia and grow MJ. These deep red states that have traditionally been opposed to legalization finally they had the light bulb go off in their head, and we are going to start seeing that domino effect happen. These states are going to be falling left and right, legalizing. Remember when California first started to legalize it? It wasn't just straight up legal. You couldn't go to the store and just buy it. You had to get the medical ID card. That's what I believe is going to start happening in states like Georgia, Louisiana. These southern states entrenched in conservative politics, they realize the tax revenue is too great, and they are not going to let the money slip through their fingers, or at least they shouldn't. In my opinion is that we will start seeing lax laws regarding MJ, which will really help these Canadian-based MJ growers and a couple of tobacco companies as well. Think about the big tobacco companies. We are going to start seeing these tobacco companies shift away from growing tobacco and grow MJ. But investing in those big tobacco companies is no fun. Personally, I'm looking for the smaller companies that have more potential for growth and more potential for the stock to go to the moon. All right, so TLRY right now has a market cap of around $6 billion on sales of $206 million annually. But remember, they just posted revenue this quarter of $140 million. If they can keep that up and increase it, we're talking about sales next year of maybe $600 million, right? And then that price to sales ratio drops considerably from a 28.29 to less than a 10 if that growth continues, and a price to sales ratio of around 10 for a growth company in a growth sector is flat out too cheap. Now, this is a longer term idea for me. This is not a short term swing trade or anything like that. I think it could take maybe 15 months for this to come to fruition, but there is potential. Potential stock number one is TLRY. Number two is a penny stock, SNDL. SNDL is going to need the whole sector to take off for this stock to take off, in my opinion, but it's a great sympathy play stock that you can get involved in at a very low price and has the potential to really make a big move. We've seen it make big moves in the past. Just a couple months ago, it was trading up at $4. Right now, it's trading at 85 cents. So if the sector starts to take off, SNDL is a great sympathy stock. And it's a legit company. They are growing in Canada. Their sales numbers are growing as well. Still losing money, but if that growth continues, we have to think that they'll be able to shore up those losses and become a profitable company just like TLRY. Another one that I want to mention is CGC, Canopy Growth, trading at $20 right now. But if we back off to a weekly chart, this thing was trading way higher in the 50s just a few months ago. For CGC, we're trading right now at $19.47. We got support down here around $16, $17 area, tons of support. So we'll have to see if that area holds. But once again, CGC and TLRY are probably my two favorite. And then if the sector starts to take off, SNDL is primed for a very nice swing trade. All right, just to wrap things up, we have the appetite from the consumers for the product, right? There is a demand for legalization. Number two, you have the appetite of the states to gain tax revenue. We are in need of tax revenue. Our country's in massive debt. We could tax it federally, tax it locally, state. It's just a tax cash cow. So I do believe we're going to start seeing these southern states start to legalize it in some way or another. It's going to boost the sector. Federally, we're going to start talking about legalization, and the sector is going to take off. So my top three are TLRY, CGC, and SNDL. I think the sector is just all around too cheap. Catch you guys in the next video. Until next time, deuces.